Hey Parker, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Uh, just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you came from and where you grew up.
Yeah, so my name's Parker Tilley, and I grew up in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. It's a small town, about 25 minutes from Winston-Salem. So, growing up in a rural town is different, especially in North Carolina. A lot of people are from bigger cities like Charlotte, Raleigh. So it's nice. It's nice to be a minority and have that experience.
Uh, just talk about your life before you were about 12 to 13 years old, and like your health and some of the decisions you made before
Okay.
then.
Yeah. So growing up, I spent a lot of time with my grandma, and I was one of only two of her grandchildren, and so she really spoiled me. We would go after school every day. We would get soda, chips. Just she let me get whatever I wanted, really. So that wasn't good for my health, and yeah. So that lasted until I was about 13. I did play sports, but I was always the heaviest of my group, and I just didn't really have a good diet.
Uh, what were some of the worst decisions you made when you were younger about health and diet and working out?
Yeah, so my worst decision, I feel like I was pretty active, but I wasn't eating like I should have. I was eating just a typical junk food and a lot of fast food. So I would say my diet was definitely the worst part of my health. And
When was the turning point for your life when it came to your diet? When did you decide to
exactly.
change?
So it was around eighth grade, going into ninth grade. I'd been playing sports in middle school, but I just didn't really have that passion for sports like a lot of people did. I love competing, but I just didn't really like playing sports as well as a lot of the kids my age. So I quit playing basketball in the seventh grade, and then I quit playing baseball in the eighth grade, and I was left with no physical activity. So I knew that I had to do something to keep my health well, and so I decided to start working out. My dad worked out all through his 20s, so he helped me get in the weight room, and we started lifting once a week, and that really got me started on the right track.
Uh, what was it like starting out in the weight room, and what was like the big things, the big challenges for you in the weight room?
Yeah. So the big challenges was probably, just having like good endurance is hard when you start working out. It's hard on your body, and just building that stamina up. And another big challenge was my diet. Obviously, if you're working out, it doesn't really help if you have a bad diet. So I had to make a change in my diet, and that was really difficult for me because it was from going to eating fast food 3, 4 times a week to really having to change stuff up and eat a lot more vegetables and fruit and things like that.
What were the biggest diet changes you made?
Yeah.
The specific diet changes.
Yeah, so originally, before I started working out, I didn't really keep up with what I was eating. I just kind of ate whenever I was hungry. Ate a lot of times when I wasn't hungry, and I overate a lot. And so after I made this change and decided to start working out, I started tracking my calories. I started tracking protein, carbs, and fats, and making sure I was getting the right amounts of those to ensure my muscle growth, and just trying to keep a really healthy diet. And I switched from a lot of fried food to more like baked and grilled chicken, things like that. And then, like I said, I really started eating more vegetables and fruit.
When did you notice that your changes were being beneficial to your body and your lifestyle?
Exactly. So I noticed changes actually really quick, which is really what got me into lifting and got me kind of addicted to it, I would say. Um, yeah, so I started lifting in the ninth grade, and I wasn't really serious about it then, but in my sophomore year I got really serious about it, and that's when I really changed up my diet and actually started to push for that, and that's when I really started to notice changes. I know when I got serious about it, I noticed changes within a couple months. So.
What was the biggest body change you noticed? Or what was like the biggest thing that you saw about your body change?
Yeah, so in middle school, like I said, I weighed more than nearly everyone, especially for my height, and so I actually lost 20 pounds in around 3 or 4 months when I made this diet change. So that was one big thing. I mean, I went from 180 pounds in middle school down to 160 pounds. So that not only made me look better physically, but it made me feel better. It helped with my self-confidence, and it just made me feel like I was actually doing something good for myself.
What was some of the main mental health changes that they were made after all these new ideas that you put into place? What was the biggest thing that helped your self-confidence?
Yeah, so like middle school, going into high school, 9th, 10th grade, can be a really hard time for a lot of people, I think. It's when a lot of people are maturing and people are starting to like care about what people think of them. And social media even makes it worse nowadays, where people are hurt online and the cyberbullying and all that stuff. So it can be really difficult for a lot of students. And I think working out just kind of gave me a passage to not think about these things. And if I had a bad day or school at something, then I could just go work out, and that really just made me feel good, honestly.
So as you got older, and let's say your sophomore, junior year, and people began noticing that you were looking like a different person, what made you believe that this was one of the best things you've done for yourself?
Yeah, so this really, I think, being able to dedicate your time to something like that and to be able to do something every day, I think that helps in other ways in your life. Like it helped, I think, working out a lot with my mental strength, just being able, after long days, if I'm really tired, just being able to get to the weight room. And I think that helps with life. Just like if you have schoolwork, I think that helps you just like push through your schoolwork and just remain dedicated.
As senior year came along and you saw yourself looking into college, how did you think weightlifting was going to help you get into college, or how was weightlifting going to be one of the better things that you were going to be able to talk about in your essays and stuff?
Yeah. So in my main essay to Carolina, I actually wrote about this, the weightlifting and the transformation I had because of weightlifting, and I've kind of tied that into being passionate about something and finding purpose, which everybody needs to have purpose and needs to have passion for something. And I just think that weightlifting really helped me develop both of those aspects in my life, and I talked about that in my college essay letter.
So after you got into UNC, how did you think weightlifting was going to affect your school life and your daily life when you got here? What was your initial thoughts about trying to balance both?
So I knew that coming in that I was gonna be like strict on time a lot of days, and it wasn't going to be easy as high school. I wasn't going to have 4 or 5 hours of free time a day. But I also knew that I needed to keep up with weightlifting, because you hear a lot of people in college that have degrading mental health. And I think weightlifting has really just helped me keep that positive motivation and just motivation in everyday life, just to help me get through deadlines and all the exams and papers and things like that. So I knew that I just told myself, I promised myself coming in that I would keep up with it.
What was it like the first time you went into a UNC gym? Was it intimidating, or what was it like seeing all these new people in an environment that you felt comfortable, but now it was different because there were so many new faces?
Yeah, it was a little intimidating because the gyms that I worked at home were really small, and didn't have a lot of people. You go to the gym, there wouldn't be any more than 10 or 15 people. And now when I go to the gym, there could be upwards of 80 to 100 people just working out in the weight room. So that was a little intimidating at first, and you just kind of feel like sometimes there's a lot of people looking at you, and that can be a little uncomfortable. But it's just something you have to get used to it, and I think I adapted well to it, and I got used to it pretty quickly. And I also that's what I like about Rams, is because it's a little bit smaller, so it almost feels like a home gym that I will work out at. So I like that aspect of Rams, and that's why I usually choose to work out there.
How do you think UNC helps people with their weightlifting journey? Do you think they have resources that can make it easier for people to adapt and change to their diet?
I definitely think so. So obviously there's your typical trainers that are provided, and I think UNC does well. I've never been to really any of the yoga classes or Zumba classes like that, because I'm just not really into that stuff. But every time I go to Rams or SRC, it seems like there's a class going on. So that's really good. It's nice to not work out by yourself sometimes, and have people around you that help push you through that. So I think that's really good. And I can tell this year that the dining room is actually trying to get better at providing healthy food.
What do you think UNC does well when it comes to helping people with self-image and helping people with helping adapt to their new lifestyles? What are some of the things that makes UNC a good place for a person that's trying to get fit and become a mentally strong person through working out? How do you think UNC does that?
Yeah, I think UNC does well. It can be tough coming into college you could go from being everything at your high school to just being a young freshman at UNC. So that can be very hard for people to make that change. And I think UNC does good with this. Their weight rooms, they keep them really nice. And like I said, there's always classes going on, and there's a lot of personal trainers. So if kids come into UNC and they've never had experience working out, it can be really uncomfortable to go in the weight room when you don't really know what you're doing. So these trainers and these classes can really teach students how to work out, and then it gives the students the confidence to go in there by themselves and work out on a daily basis.
Just talk about how you met your workout partner and how he's been beneficial to you as a student and as when it comes to your fitness as well.
Exactly. So I met Lucas right when we moved in last year, freshman year, and we did Hauling Hills together. So I met him there, and we just kind of started talking, and he seemed like he was kind of built too. So started talking about working out, and I feel like that's something I can connect with a lot of people on. And we just really connected well on working out, and then I asked if he wanted to work out, and then we started working out one day, and we've been working out ever since then. And having someone to work out can really push you, especially having someone that's about your same size. So it's almost like a friendly competition, I would say, like who can lift the most, or who can get the most muscle or whatever. So that's really nice. It's also nice to have someone hold you accountable to go to the gym and hold you accountable on eating right and maintaining a good diet. And he's really helped me through that, and that's nice. And then we're also really close friends, so it's like we can work out together, we can study together, but then we can also have fun together. So it's just kind of a maintaining, having fun, and then also really getting work done.
So when it comes to daily life of Parker Tilley, what is it like trying to balance lifting, because you have to lift of course once a day for probably 2 hours? What's it like trying to balance weightlifting for 2 hours and your classes, and what would you recommend for students to do if they want to try to balance both?
Exactly. So freshman year I didn't really find it a challenge to try to maintain working out and go to class, but this year I've seen that it's gotten a lot harder. I've tried to get more involved in other extracurricular activities besides just weightlifting, and yeah, it is really tough sometimes, and it's not always easy to go in there late at night when you're really tired. So just starting your week good and getting in the weight room like Monday, Tuesday is a really good thing for me. If I get started like during the week, it really helps me get on a good schedule. And another thing that I like to do is Sunday night, whenever Sunday, I sit down and I kind of plan out my week, and when I plan out my week, I plan time that I have to work out, and I see the days that I need to work out.
So when it comes to your daily routine, what are some other things that a lot of people don't see, like the parts of, everyone wants to lift, but what are the stuff that you need to do before the lift and after the lift to help make sure that it's beneficial? Yeah,
so I've been told this a lot of times, and I've been told that, lifting weights is only 25% of being healthy, or 25% of getting muscle. So actually eating, I believe, is more important than weightlifting to put on muscle. And a lot of people neglect this. You see people just like eat pizza or whatever, but it's really important that you get the right amount of protein and the right amount of your macronutrients to put on weight. And then also sleep's really important. And that can be one really hard thing in college, is getting enough sleep. It's very important, whether you're lifting or not, to get 8 hours of sleep. And sometimes it's just hard to do that in college.
So what do you think allows the part of weightlifting that allows you to wake up every morning and feel like you're an accomplished person? Like what makes weightlifting so good for the mind and the body?
Yeah.
But more specifically the mind.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's nice to be good at something. Everybody wants to be good at something, and even if you've had a rough day, like I said, you're always able to go to the gym and relieve stress. And even if you don't get a lot done that day, even if you just get a workout in, it's nice to just know you've accomplished something. And for me, after a workout, I feel really relaxed, and I think it helps de-stress after a long day. So that's why I really look forward to weightlifting every day.
If you had to go back in time and talk to your 12-year-old self, what would you tell him about, or what would you tell yourself at 9 or 8 years old about where you're going to be in the future and what you need to make sure to do to keep yourself healthy? What would you recommend kids from that age, especially yourself when you were that young, to be overweight and obese? What was it like, or what should you do to make yourself prepared for a better future? What can you do to make it better?
So I think it's all about developing the mentality, and the mentality just to be able to do something every day and keep up with doing it every day. That's really difficult. It's difficult to do the same thing every day for day after day. And I think that mentality, you should develop that at a young age, just like the perseverance mentality, the dedication. And then also I think it's good to form good eating habits at a young age. You know, it's all right to have a soda, or it's all right to have a pizza or a hot dog every once in a while, but it's not good. I was eating this every day, so that's not good. That's not good habit to start at a young age. So I think it's good to start eating a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables at a young age, and that can really help.
When it comes to like being overweight now, like as adult, 20 years old, what would you recommend these type of people? What should they do if they're like out of like the adolescent stage and they're more into the adult stage and they're trying to get fit and they're having issues with self-confidence? What would you recommend them to do to be able to have a better life when it comes to physical strength?
Yeah. So about that, I find that a lot of people that are overweight in their later teen years and their early adult years just don't feel comfortable going to the weight room. It's not the fact that they don't want to go, it's that they really feel like everybody is looking at them when they go to the weight room. And then this may be true to some regards, but you know, I think it's about pushing past that and really looking into the future and realizing that what you're doing for yourself is much better than the people looking at you and the people judging you. And I think it takes just one small decision just to go. I mean, you don't have to go for 2 hours every day. You can go, 3-4 times a week for 30 minutes, and that's something. It's just about getting in the routine of going, and also the diet is very important for these people. You gotta make a change to your diet, obviously, if you're overweight. So I think that is probably the biggest challenge. It's not the biggest challenge as of working out. It's the biggest challenge in their diet. And I think it's just, you just got to make the change, and you got to know how good this will be for yourself.
So what is your future when it comes to weightlifting? And how are you going to be able to implement weightlifting into your future goals after UNC? What is 10 years from now? What is your physical goals and your health goals?
So I actually don't see myself lifting weights for the rest of my life, because it's really hard on your body if you do it for a long time. So when I get older, I hope to develop a passion for something else that'll help me stay fit, whether it be running or biking or whatever. I don't really have a preference right now because I just love lifting weights. But a lot of people who lift weights don't respect people who run or bike or swim or whatever. But I'm a person that's just about the healthy lifestyle, not about just lifting weights. So I want to just kind of get these people get the youth started young and really get them in a good habit of working out every day, whether it be weightlifting or any other kind of exercise.
And whenever you're using them healthier choices, what is your goals after college when it comes to like using your education, and how is the healthier lifestyle going to help you in your job and your day-to-day life?
Yeah. So I think a healthy lifestyle just really gives you good self-confidence, just makes you feel good about yourself, honestly. So that's really good. And then I think it gives good vibes off to the people around you. Like if you have a healthy lifestyle, that just, like without you telling other people, it makes them want to have that same healthy lifestyle because they see how happy you are. And I think that having a healthy lifestyle makes you entirely more happy than if you're obese, and it's just...
How do you think that people in their like 20s look at weightlifting and look at dieting, as most people think in their early 20s that they're invincible? How do you think people should be recognizing right now as college students that their body's not invincible? How do you think people should be taking physical fitness? Because most people try to look above it and think they're invincible.
Yeah.
What advice, or what would you say to these type of people that think, oh, I'll be fine in 5 years. I can start doing healthier choices at 5 years from now. I'll be fine. My metabolism's fast. What would you say to those type of people?
Yeah, so there is actually a lot of people like that, and sometimes I catch myself thinking like that. You know, I can eat this now, and then I'll just quit, or I'll stop smoking later, or whatever. And that's just not a good mentality to have, because I've had problems with that, like just telling myself, you know, tomorrow I'll quit, or I'll quit in a week, or whatever. And that's not a good mentality to get in your mind, because I think that if you do it for a long period of time, then it's going to be even harder to quit. So if you're eating bad for 5 years, it's going to be harder to quit than if you're eating bad for 1 year. So I think the longer you do it, the more that addiction develops, and then the harder it is to break.
Uh, so what would you consider your favorite lift, or what do you like to do at the gym? What's a perfect day in the weight room for you?
Yeah, so one of my favorite days is actually probably back. When me and my dad first started working out, we would always hit back, and he actually loved hitting back too, so he kind of developed that passion in me. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. I love hitting back.
Uh, what are you going to be able to say 4 years from now about your weightlifting journey, or what are you going to be able to say at the end of the road at UNC? That what do you think will be your best like memories from weightlifting, and what would you feel like you accomplished the most in 4 years?
Yeah. So I think weightlifting, it not only gives you a healthier lifestyle, but it helps you make connections. Like I see the same people in the gym, you know, 5 times a week. So it helps you really get to know those people. And if it wasn't for weightlifting, I don't think me and Lucas would have gotten this close. So developing that connection with people, it's just like having a connection. Like if both of you like movies, it's like having that same connection. And the connections are one. And then my well-being, I think, is a big part of why I've continued to work out at UNC, because college can be mentally challenging, and a lot of kids struggle with the well-being factor in college, and it helps me keep a positive mindset. So those two things are the biggest, I think. So the transformation that I saw from middle school going into my sophomore, junior year was just amazing, and that really helped with my self-confidence. One of the biggest transformation was just losing all that weight, and that helped me not only mentally, but that just made me feel better on a day-to-day basis, feel better about myself, feel like I'd actually accomplished something. So that was one of the biggest changes. And then I also think I really changed mentally. I think it helped me honestly become a better person and just be able to develop that mentality that you can go in there every day and that you do it no matter what. And when I walk across the stage in 4 years, I hope that weightlifting has helped me develop into a better person, and I hope that I'm able to keep these same connections that I've had weightlifting throughout the rest of my life. And I also hope to be as physically fit and as mentally well off as I was when I came into Carolina.